I spent the last 2 months playing Pokemon Generation 2, and I did it. The Gen 2 Pokedex is now completed. And I have to say that completing the Pokedex in Gen 2 was way more complicated than Gen 1. Because Generation 1, I could rely on the strategy guide and a Pokedex itself to help me catch them all. But this time, Generation 2, I tried my best to figure out everything on my own. But in the end, I had to look up online a few times, which I really personally tried to avoid. Other than that, I loved every single moment of this journey, and there's just so much I want to share with you. On January 1st, 2025, I started the new year by watching the sunrise with my favorite Gen 2 Pokemons. I feel like this was the perfect way to kick off this adventure in this new year. And maybe, just maybe, I will hit 500 subscribers this year. Who knows? Over the past 2 months, I spent my committing time hatching eggs, getting shiny Pokemon, grinding the Elite Four over and over again, stealing items from the wild Pokemons. I was really stealing items. And getting disappointed by some incorrect informations in the strategy guide, trading lots of Pokemons, more Pokemons than I expected, facing unexpected mathematical problems to track down the legendary dogs, and finally catching Lugia and Ho. And then there was Mountain Silver, the trainer that I could never defeat in my life. I decided to challenge him with my underlevel Pokemons to show him some respects because I didn't want to use this when I was fighting with him. Oh, and I got the best PG in my life. I'll show you later. And of course, in the end, I got the Diploma. Printing Diploma took some time, but it was so satisfying to hear this sound again and getting the actual Diploma. It's a perfect reward for this journey. Today, I want to share that experience with you. Back in Generation 1, I used daycare very well, I would say. But this time, even after 20 hours into the game, I still couldn't unlock it. Why? Because of this special egg. In Generation 2, we received something called Old Egg when we talked to the daycare man for the first time. And this egg has 14% chance of hatching a shiny Pokemon. This is really high chance compared to the regular shiny hunt, which is 1 in 8,000 something. So I decided to get shiny Pichu during my committing time. And that's what I was saying a week ago. It's been like 6 hours in committing time, but I still couldn't get Pichu. So when I got the Magby, I thought, you know what, maybe I don't like Pichu anymore. And Magmar is really cool, right? So I just decided to go with him. After getting shiny Magby, I went out to catch all the Pokemons that I missed. Honestly, I didn't really plan out things yet, so I was randomly checking Pokedex, checked the location, and just went after them. The funny thing is that I still remember some of the locations, the ones that I remember from my elementary school. On Friday, I made sure not to forget about Lapras, because this is one of the few Pokemon that I never forget about. I still remember one of my friends said he saw the Lapras here, but when I and my other friends visited, none of us saw it. So we called him liar before. So anyway, next Pokemon that I was trying to catch was Chansey. Now, if you remember my Gen 1 video, I spent way too much time trying to catch Chansey. So I was a little bit worried about it because Chansey is a 1% encounter on routes 13, 14, 15 in Kanto, and there's just no easy way. But something crazy happened. This. I got a lucky egg on the very first Chansey encounter. And as you can see on the screen, I couldn't believe what just happened for many seconds. For people who don't know, Chansey has just 2% chance to hold this item, and this item gives 50% more EXP to the Pokemon who's holding it. And I think it is one of the best, if not the best item in the game, because grinding the levels in Gen 2 was so hard and time consuming. Chansey, I love you. I'm so sorry for calling you a fat nursing Pokemon the other day. Next thing I wanted was catching Lugia. I was thinking saving Lugia until the end to make it more dramatic, but I couldn't wait until the end because Lugia is just so cool and then he was just sitting right there. Right as I was heading to Lugia, I got a call about Quillfish Swarm. For context, there are 4 calls that we need to get to easily catch Pokemons. Because otherwise, if we do not get the call, I think it's either we need to go through 1% encounter rate or just not possible. After I caught Quillfish, I was finally heading back to Lugia. On the way, I picked up some water Pokemons including Seal, and then I was facing Lugia here. I spent about 30 minutes and then I was finally able to catch Lugia. To be honest, I was really satisfied at this moment and I was thinking about taking some break for about 5 seconds until I got another call, Yamma Swarm. Yeah, you know what? Professional Pokemon trainers don't need break. It's time to go. After catching Yamma, I found out from the strategy guide that I could get a Dratini with extreme speed from the Dragon Stand. But when I went there and I got it, Dratini did not have extreme speed. I was so disappointed. I don't know why they're doing this to me. So instead, I just fished up a level 40 Dragonair to save some time for level grinding. Next, I went hunting for evolution stones. I knew that I needed 2 sunstones from the National Park's bug catching contest. And then this is where I spent some unexpected amount of time. Did you know that Pokemon's HP affects the contest score? Because as you can see from the video right now, I didn't know that. After keep losing the bug catching contest, this was the first time I had to look up online. How do I win bug catching contest in Pokemon Crystal? Well, you know what? Turns out HP was a big factor. Right after reading that, I was able to get first place. So I thought I got it. But this is the time when something went wrong. Do you know about this cool trainer Nick? I didn't know about him, but I feel like I'm never gonna forget his name ever again. Because he just suddenly decided to waste my time so much. I lost 5 times because of him. I was able to get second Sunstone at one point, but I still don't know any tricks. I just kept trying until he doesn't show up. Eventually, I got my Sunstone. After that, I headed to Mountain Moon on Monday night, and I ran into Silver. His team was a little bit surprised because I saw a Gengar and Alakazma in his team. These 2 Pokemons require trading for evolutions, and Silver doesn't seem like the type of person who have friends to trade together, just like me. I still remember my Gen 1 video. I was so excited to have Gengar for the first time, so I'm not sure how he got it. After defeating Silver, I saw something really cute. I tried to follow them, but they disappeared, so I just decided to grab Moonstone. Oh, wait, no, but there was another problem here. I didn't know that I need Rock Smash here. I rushed back to Johto, get the Rock Smash, teach it to Golduck, and return to Mountain Moon. But the stone was already gone, so I had to wait another week. After this, I feel like I had enough Pokemons for evolutions, and my Pokedex was still pretty empty. So to make the next steps easier, I decided to use time machines to get the Pokemons from Gen 1 to Gen 2, the ones that are not obtainable in second generations. As a preparation, I grinded lots of low-level Gen 1 Pokemons for trading. However, there was a problem. Not this problem. This problem. So what happened here was that even though I prepared Gen 1 Pokemons, some of them knew these new moves introduced in Gen 2. And I didn't know about this, so I had to do the grinding again. For people who's watching this, I'll tell you just what I did. I went to Slowpoke Well and I caught all the Zubats in there. until a box was filled with just Zubats. When I was actually playing Crystal, I was tired of seeing Zubats in the cave, but I really appreciate it now. Zubats are Zubats, they don't change Gen 1, Gen 2. Using all the Zubats that I got, I was finally able to start trading with my Pokemon Yellow. Trading took some time, but it was actually fun to see the new sprites for the Gen 1 Pokemons, and then the animations. Some of the Pokemons from Gen 1 just looked totally different, in a good way. Some of the animations were really cool. So I could tell that developers loved Gen 1 Pokemons too. I also transferred the Pokemons who are using stones for evolutions, because getting the evolution stone in Gen 2 was pretty time consuming, while in Gen 1, I could just buy them from the shop. I also traded some of the Pokemons who did Moonstone as well. After all the tradings with Gen 1, I spent some time hatching the eggs to get some baby Pokemons or some non-evolved Gen 1 Pokemons. And I have to say that they were pretty cute. Alright, so now we have a bunch of Pokemons that need evolutions. Can you guess what I did next? Yes, the Elite 4 grinding started. I spent multiple weeks just beating Elite 4 again and again during my commute. There were some windy days, rainy days, snowy days. It didn't matter. In a bus, in a subway, it didn't matter. It was just all about defeating Elite 4. While grinding Elite 4, I had to rename my Delibird to Dragon Slayer because he was destroying the Dragonites. One shot every dragon that he sees. Only time he comes out from the Pokeball is when he slays the dragon. It was lots of time consuming, and at some point I developed muscle memory that I wasn't even looking at the screen, and then I was just defeating Elite 4. Only thing that motivated me was whenever evolutions happen, I see my Pokedex is actually getting filled, and it's making a good progress. Before the grinding, I feel like half of the Pokedex was just empty and I didn't even know where to start, but after this grinding, I was able to see where I am. After evolving all the Pokemons that I prepared, my Pokedex number was sitting around 201. Much better than what I had before. So around this time, I started playing Pokemon Gold for two reasons. First, I needed to transfer starting Pokemon. Second, there were 3 exclusive Gen 2 Pokemons that are not obtainable in Crystal, so I needed them. Since it's just 3 Pokemons, it was pretty fast, and I already got 2 Pokemons now. However, the last remaining one was a little bit of a problem. I needed a swarm, and I know that getting a swarm coal takes forever, because even in Crystal, I was still waiting for one more, even after so many hours. This was the time when I had to look up online. How do I trigger swarm calls faster in Pokemon Crystal? And I felt like a 12 years old kid who's just searching some random keywords that's on my head. And surprisingly, there was an answer to this. And it's pretty simple. All I had to do was talk to mom. If you go back home, talk to your mom asks you if it's about money. Say no. Then she will gonna ask if it's about daylight time saving. Say yes, and boom, there's a 50% chance of getting a call after this. So all you need to do is just remove all the trainers except the one you need, and keep repeating this until this happens. This one. It worked. That's all the Pokemons I needed from Pokemon Gold, and I played a little bit more to get Master Ball, and I'm really glad that I did it. I'll tell you why a little bit later. I traded exclusive Pokemons to Crystal. After trading exclusive Pokemons to Crystal, my Pokedex number was at 205. It was easy for me to see what Pokemons I'm missing. I went after them and I caught more Pokemons. And of course, after catching new Pokemons, I had to do Elite Four again to evolve them, right? At this point, I didn't really feel tired of defeating Elite Four because my Pokedex is heading to the end. After evolving more Pokemons, my Pokedex number became 217. Less than 40 more to go. It's been more than 70 hours, but the Anthony hiker is still not calling me about one last swarm that I need. So what did I do? I went to talk to my mom because I really needed that swarm. And this guy, the Anthony, he was ignoring me for more than 70 hours, but as soon as I talked to mom, he just decided to call me right away. Yeah, so whenever there's problem, talking to mom is a good option. And then of course, as soon as I got the call, I went to catch Dunsparce. So we don't need to wait for a phone call anymore. I went to Kanto. I start trading my money to Casino Coin for Polygon. Good thing is that, thanks to Elite Four, I had too much money. The problem that I cannot have in real life. Another good thing is that I was able to trade 500 coins at once. It's saving lots of times. After trading coins, I spent the coin to get the Polygon. I also did some in-game tradings to fill in the missing Pokemons that I have. And I still think this lady here is really smart. Because we all know that Chansey is hard to catch, and she's just standing here in case someone catch extra. And I just realized that I didn't have Boltov. Since I was in Kanto, I went to Pallet Town to catch Mr. Mime. In Generation 1, I got Mr. Mime from in-game trading, so it was a little bit surprising that Mr. Mime was hiding here Gen 2. I also visited Sylph Company to get an upgrade. I also went deep into the cave and get this special fighting Pokemon. This Pokemon was really weird. At the time when he hits level 20, based on his attack and defense stat, he evolves into something different. Since I had too much money, I used Daycare to level him up till 19, and I used proteins to adjust the attack and defense. And one single rare candy, and boom, that was it. I went to Ruins of Arth to catch one unknown, and I went to the Union Cave, went all the way down, because this is the only place where we can catch Natu and Smargle. I honestly didn't know about this place, so I also had to look up online, how can I get here? I just evolved Natu, and I finally evolved all the Friendship Evolution Pokemons. Technically, I had all of them in my party when I was grinding Elite 4. All I needed was just level them once. After all this, my Pokedex was at 231. 231. Just 20 more to go. I used 2 Sunstones to do the stone evolutions and it became 233. I was going over the Pokedex and realized that I am missing 2 fossil unevolved Pokemons, and then it's time to do trade evolutions. And the thing is that I was missing Haunter, so I had to wait until the night. The good thing is that it was 5:51 PM, and then it's almost night, so I knew that I could make a big progress here. I spent some time hatching the eggs to get 2 additional Pokemons, and catch Ghastly, and evolve into the Haunter, go after the Dragon Scale, go to the Sylph Company to get an upgrade. Now, it was time for trading evolutions. Gen 2 was different from Gen 1, because Gen 1, I could just trade and Pokemon just evolved. Gen 2 introduced a new special evolutions that Pokemons need to hold the specific items in order to evolve into something special. Most of the items were not problem because I spent some time stealing Metal Coat and I got another one from the SS Aqua. So that one's clear, and I had 1 King's Rock. And then it seems like game only provide 1 King's Rock. So my option was either trade from the Pokemon Gold or just steal it. And of course, I decided to steal it because I like stealing items from Pokemons. So I was able to steal King's Rock. and that makes all the requirement clear. First, I start with just regular trait evolutions, and then I continued with the special evolutions with holding items. King's Rock, Dragon Skill, Metal Coat, Upgrade, King's Rock. Everything was so perfect. I was able to do the trading and get all of them evolved and get it back to Crystal. And there's something I missed. I actually gave the King's Rock to the Slowbro, but I had to give it to the Slowpoke. Not a big problem. I just traded one more time. After finishing trade evolutions, my Pokédex number became 245. Just 6 more Pokémons. By watching the Pokédex, can you figure out which one I'm missing? Well, the thing is that I couldn't figure out. Okay, I'll be honest. I looked up online how to catch Apom or Hercules, and I knew that I needed to use Headbutt. That's all I looked up. So I used Headbutts a lot, so many times, and I couldn't see them. After spending an hour of not seeing them and just headbutting the random trees, I had to look up online once again. And do you know what I found out? It turns out that based on your trainer ID, there are some predetermined special trees just for you. And this special tree has a really high chance of dropping the rare Pokemons, which exactly what I missed. So I just entered my trainer ID onto the website that I found, which are gonna link in the description. Just enter your ID, it will gonna highlight some trees for you. All you need to do is just go there, use Headbutt. I just got Hercules and Apom just within 5 minutes. That was so fast. So with those 2 Pokemons handled, my Pokédex was at 247. And I knew which Pokemons I'm missing. It's 2 legendary dogs and Ho-Oh. I didn't really worry about the legendary dogs because I knew that if I see them once, they will show up on my Pokédex, and all I had to do is just go to them and catch with Master Ball. Because I have 2 Master Ball, so everything sounded so good. And of course, I was wrong. I'm not sure if you can tell from my screen, but if I use Fly, their location just randomly resets. Okay, so that's a new information. So what did I do with this new information? I flied into the city, look up these dogs' locations. If it's near, I walk to them. If it's far away, I just fly again. That should work, right? I thought it's perfect plan and I thought it was gonna work. So that's why I stick to it. And then I got into this situation where me and the dog were right next to each other and then I could not get to them. And this is the time when I realized that if I'm right next to them, there is a 0 chance of encountering them. So it's like a math problem to figure out how can I and the dog be in the same place. And what's the fastest way to make it happen? There's a good news. Someone already did their homework. Only thing you need to do is just fly to this town that's mentioned on the guide and check if one of the dog location is one of this place. If not, repeat. I will link this guide to the video description. I was able to see a legendary dog within just 5 minutes, thanks to someone's work. And then one thing I really liked, I didn't know about this one, is that if you encounter the legendary dogs, you hear some different background music. And then I used my Master Balls to catch them. Do you know what this means? This means that I can finally go to the monk and prove myself that I'm worthy enough to face Ho. Took so longer than I expected to legendary dogs, but before we go to Ho, since I'm so rich, I bought 99 Ultra Balls just to flex. When I went to the Tin Tower, the monk gave me a rainbow wings. Then I was able to finally see Ho. It took really long time, longer time than I expected because, as you can see from my back, I spent about 42 Ultra Balls. That took me some time. So now we have Ho. That made my Pokédex to 250 Pokemon. Technically, this is all the Pokemons that I can catch in Crystal. And I can still get the Diploma. But we know that there's one more. There's Celebi. The problem is that there was no legit way for me to get Celebi. If you play Crystal on 3DS, you get something called GS Ball event, and you can just catch it, but I'm not playing on the 3DS. I couldn't do that. So I did some research. So you don't need to do. Option 1. Cheating with Game Shark. You can either just encounter Celebi or just catch Celebi, or you can even inject some code to trigger some GS Ball event. That sounds pretty cool. Option 2. Transfer the save data to 3DS and defeat the Elite Four. This will unlock the GS Ball event on your save data. And then all you need to do is just transfer the save back to the actual game card. It sounded really great, except I had no way to take out my save data and transfer to the other place. Then I found a YouTube video. It explains about the glitch, how you can get Celebi in-game without cheating injections. I used glitch in Gen 1 to catch Mew. So why don't I just do it again in Gen 2 to catch Celebi? I will link the video that I watched into the description, because I have no idea why this works or how this even works. And I don't deserve any credits to this. But basically, I'll just show you what I did. I had to put specific items into my PC, exactly in this order. I had to catch fresh low-level Pokemons, and then I placed this Pokemon on slot number 4. This Pokemon must know the sleep talk, and then have it on this slot. This Pokemon needs to hold HP up, and place this Pokemon to party slot number 4, and leave the slot 5 and 6 blank. I don't know why, but just do what it says, because I can tell you that it works. That's it. That's all you need to do. So now, go to the Professor Elm's lab, save it, restart the game, come out from the lab, go to this exact spot, open up the Pokédex, listen to Bellsprout's Pokédex cry, close the Pokédex, open up your bag, and use coin case. This is where the interesting thing happens. Game might crash and look really weird, but don't panic, because I panicked. Just reset the game, throw away the 3 Pokemons that you had on slot number 1 to 3. Just replace them with the new Pokemons. Just try again. I will show you which 3 Pokemons work for me. If you use the coin case and game does not crash, it means it worked. Go to the daycare, talk to the lady on the right side, and give your first Pokemon. For me, it was Pidgey. After that, I was just biking outside a little bit, and then I came back. She says, "Are we genius or what?" And then I got my Pidgey back. I kind of worried about it because it said I got back Pidgey. But when I actually checked it, it was not just Pidgey, it was Celebi. I have Celebi now with my trainer name on it. It worked. Since this is Pokemon Gold, let me transfer this to my Pokemon Crystal. This is the last trade that I need to do in Gen 2. So you can see, I was at 111 hours into the game, and I had 250 Pokemons. And then here I am, transferring the last Pokemon. I really didn't know that I could actually get Celebi. I was really panicked when the game crashed, or when I see that it requires something to take out my save data. But thanks a lot to the person who posted the video. Now I have Celebi in my Crystal, and that completes my Pokédex. When I open up Pokédex, it says I have all 251 Pokemons now. I did it. Since I completed Pokédex, first thing I did was I went to the Professor Oaks, because he would love to see this. Okay, I think that's all we get from him, but we know that there's one more. The game developers. And just like Gen 1, they give me the diploma and they ask me if I want to print my diploma. Of course, finally the diploma time. Gen 1 took me about 50 some hours to complete Pokedex, and Gen 2 seems like I spent 111 hours. Time went pretty fast, and I did it. I completed Pokemon Generation 2. Hearing this printing sound and seeing the diploma makes me so satisfied that I want to close the game, but there are actually just 2 more things that I need to do. First thing is that I want to change Selby's name. Right now it's PG, but I don't want to keep calling it as PG, so I just wanted to change it back to Selby. And for some reason, I was not able to change the name. I don't know why, because when I changed the name for the Delibird, it worked. Maybe I used the glitch, so I cannot change name maybe. So I guess we cannot do that. Next and the final thing we need to do is challenging Red, the trainer who I could never defeat when I was young. To show him lots of respects that I have, I did not level up my favorite Pokemons a lot, because I wanted to challenge him while I am underleveled. And these are the members that I picked, my favorites of Gen 2. Alright, it's time. Since I did not have any Steel or Rock Pokemons, Pikachu was really strong. So what I did was, I prepared some plans. My plan 1, use Toxic to poison Pikachu, and use Bite to flinch Pikachu, and just let Pikachu suffer from the poison. The problem was that Pikachu was really fast. That's okay, I have plan B. Plan B is use Moonlight to restore HP and wait for Pikachu to suffer from poison and die. Next Pokemon that he used is Snorlax. And of course, I also had plan for Snorlax. Plan A is that use Toxic to poison Snorlax, and before he used Rest around half HP, I used Confuse Ray. My initial plan was reduce the HP around half, make Snorlax confused, and then just pray to RNG that Snorlax maybe just attack himself and poison damage kill him. And of course, it did not work. That's okay, I have plan B. Plan B is that Snorlax cannot attack Ghost type with normal moves, so I was just waiting for Snorlax to run out of PP, and when he runs out of PP and cannot attack or rest anymore, I used Poison again to kill him. It took me a long time, but it worked. Next is he sent out Venusaur, but you know that I have Shiny Magmar, right? And my Shiny Magmar used Fire Blast to take care of Venusaur. Next Pokemon was Espeon, so I sent out Umbreon and I used Poison again and used Moonlight to restore my HP. Yeah, that's it. So next was Charizard. And then I have Asmariel. Charizard was not a big deal. Last Pokemon is the turtle with bazooka. The thing is that I didn't have grass type Pokemons, so I tried to use the other Pokemons, but he was pretty strong, so I had to poison him again. And I got my first victory against the trainer Red. For the first time in my life, I kind of feel bad, but you know, a win is a win. After I defeat him, he just disappeared and then the second ending credit popped up. I completed Pokedex, I beat Red, but I still cannot say that I really completed Crystal because there's one thing that I didn't do yet. It's Battle Tower. I think this is a place where I just fight against some trainers and win. I don't know much yet, but who am I? I just defeated Red. That just explains how good I am. Since this video is about catching all Gen 2 Pokemons, I'll just play Battle Tower after posting this. This battle shouldn't take too long. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and then if you liked it, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in next video.